What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Of course, you know, it's that time of the week where I'm going to give my predictions. We're heading into week 6, halfway through the season. I can't believe that. This season has just flown by. Every week, though, I feel like we are getting a better product on the field. Offenses are starting to click. Defenses are starting to come together. Last week, I went 2 for 2, so I went 500 on the week. My winners were the Apollos and the Commanders. I had Salt Lake and Memphis Express winning last week. They didn't, so 2 for 2 last week. But let's jump into week 6. First game up, it's going to be the Memphis Express and the Salt Lake Stallions. Both of these teams are sitting at 1-4. This game is on Bleacher Report Live at 3 p.m. Central. So both of these teams are the bottom dwellers for each of their conferences, the East and the West. Both are also coming off of tough losses last week. Of course, you know, Memphis lost by a field goal, as well as Salt Lake lost by a field goal, but I feel like theirs was a lot more crushing because Josh Woodrum had drove them down. They scored, got the 2-point conversion to take the lead. Then in the waning seconds, defense couldn't hold. They ended up, Fleet drove down, kicked a field goal as time expired to walk away with the win. So both of these teams sitting at 1-4. My big question in this game is which offense is going to step up. So both of these teams, I feel, are better than what their record shows, but both teams have made untimely mistakes. Let's just start with Salt Lake side. So Josh Woodrum, you know, he had 3 picks in last week's game against the Fleet. He's got to clean that up moving forward. Zach Mettenberg, I believe that, you know, they're starting to turn the corner, but they're going to have to ride Zach Stacy pretty heavily. My big takeaway, Salt Lake is towards the bottom in rush efficiency, so they need to run the ball a lot better, take some of that pressure off of Woodrum. I think that'll clean up some of the interceptions that he has. But in this one, my final, Memphis 24, Salt Lake 20. So heading into our second matchup, we have the Arizona Hotshots taking on the Orlando Apollos. Hotshots are 2-3. Apollos, as you know, sitting at 5-0, the only undefeated team left in the alliance. This game is going to be on NFL Network at 7 p.m. Central. Let's just start with the Hotshots, guys. Hotshots are going to have to come out swinging. They cannot come out stale like they did last week against the Commanders. They got shut out in the first half of that game. They were lucky to be able to climb back into it, but I don't see that happening against the Apollos. They will have to play a complete game, 4 quarters of football. It's worth noting, John Wolford, he leads the league in interceptions. He has 6 interceptions. That's averaging 1 interception per game. He also leads the league, though, in touchdowns. He has 10 touchdown passes, and that's above Garrett Gilbert. Gilbert's sitting at 8, so he has 2 more touchdown passes than Gilbert. So he can throw. He has to clean up those mistakes. I believe that Presley and Ross are going to be huge again in this game. They will be the keys and the difference makers if the Hotshots stand a chance against the Apollos. Let's flip over to the Apollos side of the ball. So Garrett Gilbert, 0 interceptions on the year. So that speaks leaps and bounds for not just his ability, but this team. He doesn't put them in bad situations. They play sound on both sides of the ball. I've looked to see Spurrier probably dig deep in the playbook, try some trick fluke play, just because they can. I mean, at this point, they pretty well, it's them and then the rest of the league. And my last note here, I put just keep doing what you've been doing. You know, you've been successful. Why change it? If it's not broke, don't fix it. So in this one, I've got the Apollos 30, the Hotshots 20. Just a little side note, the Hotshots were a team after week 1. You know, we were all high on them, me included. And for whatever reason, I guess ever since, I'm going to go back to that injury. Wolford has not looked the same. But who knows? Maybe they're able to pull this one out and give the Apollos their first loss. But like I said, I got the Apollos 30, Hotshots 20. All right, so on to Sunday's games. So first up for that, we have the San Antonio Commanders at the Atlanta Legends. Commanders are 3-2. Legends are 2-3. This game is on CBS Sports Network at 3 p.m. Central. First, right out of the gate, takeaway for this one, Commanders have to play a complete game. They got to play 4 quarters. So talked a little bit about this with the Hotshots last week. In that game, Commanders came out swinging and they took their foot off of the accelerator a bit, and it almost cost them the game. So have to play 4 quarters of football. It is worth noting that the running back Farrow and Joel Lanning, who is huge on that defense, both practiced this week. So they should play on Saturday. So that's huge for them. They will need both of those guys. And Woodside, coming off his Player of the Week honors, he just has to keep improving. Like I said, keep those interceptions down. They have a great running game. So run the ball, play action pass over the top to some of those big wide receivers that they have, and I think that they will be fine. Flip over to the Legends side of the ball. They're coming off back-to-back wins. Murray, he will need to have a big game in this one. He'll have to extend plays because I believe the Commanders defense, that front four, they're really going to be able to get after him. So if he can extend those plays, I think that that's where they will have some success. If not, I believe it's going to be a long day for them. They're going to have to control the line of scrimmage. So with that said, they're going to have to run the ball. I know that part of their running game, it relies on Murray running that read option. So we'll see if that plays out, if they're able to sustain that. Or, if Murray goes down because they're having to run him a lot, Legends are going to be in a bad spot. It is worth noting the Commanders, they will have played 4 games on the road. So this is the last of a 4-game road stretch. So I guarantee you after this one's over, they're going to be more than happy to come back in front of that Commanders crowd. In this one though, guys, I've got the Commanders pulling out the win 27-14. All right, so our nightcap game to round out week 6, we've got the Birmingham Iron and the San Diego Fleet. Iron are 3-2, Fleet are 3-2. This game's on NFL Network at 7 p.m. Central. We're going to start with the Iron in this one. So the Iron, they have to find a way to right the ship. For a team that was 3-0, they've dropped their last 2. Really not the same team that we saw. So as you know, quarterback change. So Keith Price, he will be starting in this one. Perez will be on the bench. So my question is, can Price be the spark plug that this offense so desperately needs? Their running back, Trent Richardson, I've said this before, his yards per carry is really low, so he really doesn't give you that burst play. And they need something. They need something to ignite that offensive firepower. And right now they're just not getting it. So maybe Keith Price will be a curveball to that. Nice little changeup. The defense, though, will be able to keep them in games. So I feel in this one, it's going to be very important for them to try and produce turnovers to help Price, give them a short field. That way they can just punch it in. Flip over to the Fleet side of it. Can Bercovici step up? So as you know, just as the Fleet had some things going and were getting hot, their quarterback, Philip Nelson, got hurt. He's going to be out for an extended period of time. So it's back to Bercovici. He didn't look good in the first week, and that's kind of why he lost the starting job to Nelson, but now he's back by default. He's going to have to play sound football. Like I said, one of the keys for the Iron is going to be producing those turnovers, and I believe that they will be able to do that with Bercovici back there. But one way that you can counter that, they have a stud running back. They've got to get Jaquan Gardner going again. He had an off week last week, so his numbers were down, but they're going to have to run the football with him, get him going. Fleet defense, this defense can keep them in games. So they've shown in the past that they've been able to hang with the best of the best as far as offenses go. I don't think that they'll have a problem against the Iron. I've got the Fleet taking this one 20-17. Their kicker gets another game winner, and they will stay tied with the Commanders at the top of the West. All right, guys, so that wraps up week 6. Hey, that reminds me, don't forget, in my previous video, and I will throw that right up here, I actually, I'm running a contest, a giveaway. I don't want to give too much of the details. Head on over to that video, though, and check it out. Get yourself entered. You won't regret it. Got some pretty cool stuff headed your way. But that's all I got for this one, guys. If you're not already, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. You know, turn the bell notification on. That way you know when my next video comes out. As well as if you like this content, guys, do me a huge favor, give it a thumbs up, hit that like button for me, as well as jump down to the comments section. I want to know, who are you taking for week 6, and who do you see rising to the top and playing in the championship game at the end of the year? Let me know in the comments below. All right, guys, that's all I have for this one. I'm out.